Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. I am News Director Lee Pye here today with my news assistant Joshua Ribakove, as well as Hunter Halterman, Izzie Inzinna, and Sports Director Matt Volz. With this top-of-the-hour update, we'll bring you on the latest of SUNY Fredonia's campus news and events, sports, weather, and music. First up, we'll bring it to Hunter for our latest campus news updates.
Thank you very much, Lee. Starting us off today, SUNY Fredonia has launched its new Fred Scholar Service. Starting mid-December, students can access the system to match with the donor-funded scholarships that are available through the Fredonia College Foundation. Students will also have access to some external scholarships offered through Scholarship Universe. For more information, email scholarships@fredonia.edu. The Student Association is conducting the annual on-campus selections for class representatives and presidents. Until 9 p.m. today, you are encouraged to vote using the ballot sent to your SUNY Fredonia email address. This will be done based on the number of credit hours students have, so you'll only be able to see the ballots for your respective class. New and returning representatives will be sworn in at the Student Association meeting on Thursday in room G26 in McEwen Hall. Professor Wilson Hunn, a law professor at Dupuy University, will be giving a presentation on the history of the rights to liberty and equality under the Constitution. Hunn will discuss the consequences of denying the rights to abortion and same-sex marriage, as well as the influence of President Abraham Lincoln on the interpretation of those rights. Hunn's presentation, which is sponsored by the American Democracy Project, will be given in the Williams Center in room S204 today at 2 p.m. And we're going to toss it right back to Lee.
Thanks, Hunter. Next up, we have local news. Tonight, SUNY Fredonia's Department of Psychology Assistant Professor Lee G, I'm not going to pronounce it because I don't want to mess it up, will be presenting a hybrid lecture called Integrated Healthcare and Advocacy for Trans and Gender Diverse Individuals, Thinking Beyond Pink and Blue. He will present on Thursday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., which will be live streamed. The link can be found on in the Dunkirk Observer to sign up for the meeting. Next up, Governor Kathy Hochul has signed legislation requiring parents and students to receive information on AP courses. The advanced placement courses now need to notify on what courses are offered, how to enroll, the benefit of the courses, as well as establishing peer-selected student governments either in high schools or district-wide. The decision amends the education law to require all school districts and charter schools to provide the AP course information. The notices about this information will be either sent electronically or by mail. A new event is happening this Sunday, the Chautauqua Grown Open Barn Doors Day, helped by the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Chautauqua County's agricultural program. That is a mouthful. But there are 9 different locations for this event, so grab a pen to write them down for one that is closest to you. Anyone at any age is welcome to join these events, where multiple different activities will be presented at each location. The locations are, grab a pen, Miller's Dairy Farm, 6219 South Road, Walker's Alpaca Farm, 544 Railroad Ave, Green Heron Growers, 2361 Waits Corners Road, Big Tree Maple, 2040 Holly Lane, Muncie Farm at 1381 Panama Bear Lake Road, Peterson Farm, 3260 Fulvana Ave exit, Moon Meadow Farm, 2989 Moon Road, the Cornell Lake Erie Research Extension Laboratory at 6592 West Main Road, and finally, a large sheep operation called H&R Rustic Acres at 12379 Allegheny Road. The purpose of these events is to promote agriculture in Chautauqua County, which is number 1 in industry #1 industry in New York State. Again, this event is happening on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's all for your local news update. Let's move on to the sports guy, Matt.
Thanks, Lee. Well, the drought is over for the Fredonia State women's tennis team as they won their first match since April of 2021 on Monday, defeating Houghton 7-2. The team nearly swept Houghton in singles with the top 5 singles players all taking home victories. Fredonia also took home wins in second and third doubles. The team will be in action again later today as they travel to Geneseo for a conference matchup at 5 o'clock. The men's soccer team remains undefeated on the season as they once again took home a win last night, defeating St. Vincent 7-2 at University Stadium. Junior forward Brian Taylor scored twice in the win, including the first goal of the game just 51 seconds in. The win brought their season record to 2-0-3. They'll be in action again Friday night as they host Pitt Bradford at 7 o'clock. The women's soccer team extended their unbeaten streak with a 1-1 tie against Alfred University last night. Senior midfielder Talia DeFay scored with 15 minutes left to tie the game after the Blue Devils created chance after chance throughout. Fredonia outshot Alfred 18-5 in the game, and the tie brought their overall record to 2-2-1. The Blue Devils will travel to Hamburg for a matchup with Hilbert College tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Well, it was a rough night for the Buffalo Bills on Monday night as the Bills fell to the New York Jets 22-16 in overtime, a punt return in overtime, deciding that game. Josh Allen had a particularly rough night, throwing 3 interceptions, all to Jets safety Jordan Whitehead, and losing a fumble. Allen took responsibility for the loss in his post-game press conference, talking about how he needs to play better and he felt like he cost the team the game. However, it was a costly win for the Jets as quarterback Aaron Rodgers was injured on the opening drive of the game after he was sacked by Bills defensive end Leonard Floyd. An MRI confirmed yesterday that Rodgers tore his Achilles tendon, ending his season. Quarterback Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick in the 2021 draft, will take over as the Jets starter, provided that they don't come in and sign somebody else from free agency. Wilson and the Jets will face the Bills again on Sunday, November 19th at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park. As for next Sunday, the Jets will travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys for a 4:25 matchup, while the Bills play their home opener against the Las Vegas Raiders at 1 o'clock. That's all for your sports update. Let's send it to Izzie with the weather.
Now, here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Good afternoon, and let's get right into the weather. Today we have a high of 68 with some chances of rain in the afternoon. Be sure to shut your windows. I've heard too many stories of things getting destroyed from the rain. And then tonight we drop to 51. Some of those clouds will disappear as we will have no sun today. And some of the clouds will disappear tonight, giving you a chance at getting a glimpse of the moon. Tomorrow we have a high of 67 with very few clouds in the sky, giving us a nice sunny day. Be sure to get out there and enjoy it because tomorrow night will be a cold one. With a low of 47, be sure to bundle up if you plan to go out. Definitely makes it a good night to possibly stop by a local concert, but what do I know? That's it for your 2-day weather. Keep listening, and I'll be back with the rest of your weekend forecast. For now, let's take it to Lee for our local music update.
Want to know what's up with the music scene this week? BJ's is presenting 3 bands this week on Thursday, September 14th. The 3 bands include Science Man, Besta Quadrata, and Zero Again. The doors are at 9 p.m. and the music is at 10 p.m. Bring your friends. That's all I have for music news this week. Let's bring it to Josh for national and international news.
This morning, North Korea's Kim Jong-un met with the Kremlin Vladimir Putin at a summit that solidifies North Korea's full support for Russia in the war with Ukraine. They met at the Vostochny Cosmodrome, Russia's most important launch center. It is alleged that through their decision to meet there, North Korea is looking for help developing military reconnaissance satellites. Kim Jong-un has been desperate to get his first military spy satellite into orbit, a feat that has evaded him with unsuccessful launches for the past few months. When he met Putin at the Cosmodrome, Kim Jong-un said, quote, "Russia is currently engaged in a fight against hegemonic forces to defend its sovereign rights, security, and interests. I take this opportunity to affirm that we will always stand with Russia on the anti-imperialist front and the front of independence," end quote. Included in Kim's entourage were several other leaders from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK for short. Among them were Pak Thae-song, chairman of North Korea's Space Science and Technology Committee, Navy Admiral Kim Yong-sik and former member of the National Defense Commission Jo Chung-rong. When Kim asked Putin if Russia will help build satellites, the Kremlin allegedly responded with, quote, "That's why we have come here. The DPRK leader shows keen interest in rocket technology. They're trying to develop space too," end quote. Putin also expressed that discussions about military cooperation will happen in due time and that there is no rush. Also this morning, convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante has been captured after a manhunt that lasted 2 weeks. He had escaped from Pennsylvania's Chester County Prison on August 31st, and surveillance footage revealed him crab walking up a wall and out of sight. Cavalcante, a 34-year-old Brazilian man, had originally been convicted after he murdered his ex-girlfriend. After his escape, he had stolen a vehicle, a rifle, and he was spotted on the doorbell cameras of multiple homes throughout the manhunt. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania claims that no shots were fired and no police were injured as Danilo was captured today. In a joint statement by Chester County Commissioners Marian Moskowitz, Josh Maxwell, and Michelle Kitchline, they stated that they will be making changes to the prison security, starting with an analysis from security contractors. The statement also read, quote, "The capture of Cavalcante ends the nightmare of the past 2 weeks," end quote, with multiple schools and roadside checkpoints facing closure out of fear that the escapee would cause violence. Hurricane Idalia is causing a stir in Georgia, with floodwater trapping some residents in their homes. Today, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services issued a public health emergency. In a statement from Health Secretary Xavier Becerra, it was stated, quote, "We are working closely with state and local health authorities, as well as our partners across the federal government, and stand ready to provide additional public health and medical support," end quote. With the public health emergency declaration, healthcare providers and suppliers will more easily be able to meet the emergency needs of Georgians, as it will allow physicians and other healthcare professionals from outside of the state to provide their services without Georgia licenses. That's all for your national and international news. Let's bring it back to Izzie for the weekend forecast.
Hi, I'm back. And here is your weekend weather. So starting this weekend off with a high of 69 and very few clouds in the sky. But Friday night will get cold again with a low of 50. Saturday, we have another beautiful day. Be sure to get out there and enjoy it with a high of 73. But Saturday night, we again drop to the 50s with a low of 52. And then finally, on Sunday, we go back up to a high of 69, which sounds pretty nice, but it will be very cloudy. Sunday night, our rain reappears as we drop to a low of 54. That's it for your weekend forecast. Let's take it right back to Lee.
That'll wrap today's edition of News at Noon. Campus news is written and read by Hunter Halterman. Local news for this broadcast is prepared by Lee Pye. Weather is presented by Izzie and Inzinna. Sports is presented by Matt Volz. Music was prepared by Lee Pye. National and international news is prepared by Joshua Ribakove. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by Hunter Halterman. Thanks for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. From all of us at Fredonia Radio Systems, have a great day.